All right, so good morning again and welcome to today's sociology session. I am Wendy-Ann Ivey and I'll be your tutor for this first session. So this session will go up until about 1 p.m. So the aim for this morning is to go through three past paper questions, three past papers rather, multiple choice, and I'm just asking for your cooperation. So we're going to go through them. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and essentially you will be the ones providing the answers to the questions, and I'll just be here to guide you as to tell you whether you are correct or incorrect. And I'll also be asking for volunteers to explain the reason for the answer that you have given. So I'll just be here to guide you as to whether you are on the right path or not. Great. So just asking you all to mute your mics unless you are speaking, responding to the question. So just a few things about myself before we begin. So I already said my name. I am a first year student at the UWI Mona, and I'm studying law. I did like Sociology Unit 2. I did not like Unit 1, so I'm hoping that we have a good time together. So how are you guys feeling about the exam? Are you guys feeling more confident, especially since you were given a bit more time to prepare? You got some extra weeks. This is where you respond as to how you're feeling. Nervous about paper too. Okay, that's natural. Okay. All right. So another person is feeling more confident. All right, that's great. I think my camera will be off for the rest of the session once I start sharing my screen. So this was just to show you all what I look like, and so we can begin. Again, guys, especially since I'll be sharing screen, you're going to have to unmute and actually talk because I won't be able to see the chat for responses. So just to confirm that you're seeing my screen.
Yes, I'm seeing your screen.
All right, great, thank you. So we can get into it. So the first question, which of the following statements is true of a population census? A, it is conducted every 5 years. B, every person or household is accounted for. C, the data are collected at the end of the year. Or D, only a random sample of the population is counted. Remember that you're supposed to provide a response.
B.
Can you repeat that?
B as in boy.
B as in boy, okay. And yes, that's what I have. I'll be marking on this, so I guess I could send it to you guys afterwards. I don't think I need to explain this because it's a given, so I'm just going to continue. All right, number 2. With reference to any country in a given year, which of the following is an accurate definition of the term natural increase? Is it A, the deficit of births over deaths, B, the surplus of births over deaths, C, the number of deaths per 1,000, or D, the number of deaths of infants under 1 year of age per 1,000? All right, so to answer this question, you guys should know how to work out, how to find the natural increase. So can somebody just tell me, well, the answer is there, so you can just tell me what it is.
Would it be B as in boy?
All right, yes, it's B. So natural increase is the surplus of births over deaths, and you can see why that is. So natural increase essentially calculates, how many persons, I'm going to say new persons, are how the population has increased. So you're naturally you're going to be subtracting the amount of persons who have died from the amount of persons who have been born. And that's why it says surplus. So it's really just saying it's births minus deaths. All right. Number 3, which of the following factors does not contribute to the control of fertility rates? Is it A, low infant mortality, B, preference for small families, C, delayed childbearing by women, or D, availability of reliable contraception?
A.
Okay, and why you say A?
That's the only one that would not control the fertility rates.
All right, that's correct. Okay. Number 4, it says, okay, hold on. Refer to the table below, which shows the development indicators that are used to describe trends and evaluate progress in various countries. All right, so I'm going to give you guys like a minute to read this, and then I'll ask you for your response. All right, are you ready with the response? Is it A? What is the indicator for social service? Is it A, who are victims of crime, B, without access to safe water, C, without academic qualifications, or D, who have access to essential drugs?
Would it be boy?
All right, do you want to explain why you said B?
Well, it's a social service, and the thing that came to my mind is like, well, out of everything is water. I wouldn't say victims of crime. I don't think that would be a social service. No, there is. So that's why I said B.
All right. Does anybody have a different answer? All right, I'll take that as a no. So I also have B as well. To be frank, I'm not fully sure how to explain this answer, but I believe that B is the best choice. And so this goes for the rest of the questions. If you have a different view than what I have, you're free to share that, right? All right, this is a duplicate of the first page. Okay, so item 5 refers to the diagram below, and according to the demographic transition theory, the stage of industrialization begins at which stage? So I'll give you another few seconds to read this, and I'll ask you for your response.
Excuse me, Wendy-Ann, which year paper is this?
Repeat.
I was asking which year paper is this?
this is 2015 paper.
Hold on, I can't hear some person. Could you repeat?
2015.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Are you ready with the response for this question? Number 5.
B.
All right. Can you explain, give a brief summary of the demographic transition theory?
In the demographic transition theory, stage 2, for stage 2 of the demographic transition theory, stage 2, which is the industrialization process, indicates an increase in birth rates and a decrease in death rate.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. So yes, it's B. Number 6. Which of the following components does the Human Development Index include? A, educational level, B, gender of persons, C, type of occupation, D, infant mortality rate.
A, education level.
All right. Let's go. So for some of these, I'll omit an explanation, because for obvious reasons. All right. So in calculating the population growth in Tortola for 2007, Jane subtracts the number of deaths from the number of births. What additional steps should she take? I compute the net migration rate. 2, compute the change in birth rate. 3, add the net natural increase to net migration. Or 4, add the net fertility rate to the death rate. So, all right, go ahead. I was going to give you a few minutes to look at, a few seconds to look at this one. All right, are we ready with our response? Anybody? This question is basically asking you,
would it be would it be a boy?
all right, I heard one person to B. So I heard another person was speaking.
Yeah, sorry, I was saying 1 and 2.
All right, so you're saying A. All right. So the answer is B, right? So it's 1 and 3. So in populating the growth rate, so the growth rate is the average rate of growth of the population over a given period, right? So right. So first you're going to subtract the number of deaths from births, and then you are going to find the net migration. And net migration refers to the number of persons, or the equation is for that rather, is to subtract the persons who have emigrated from the persons who have immigrated. And so when you do that, then you'd add the two. So, all right. So you find the natural increase and you find the net migration, and you add those together, and that will give you the population growth. Is that explanation clear, or do I need to go over it? All right. All right, moving on. So the term underdevelopment is usually associated with A, dependency on government revenue, B, dependency on foreign goods and services, C, a lack of natural resources in developing countries, D, exploitation of the resources in third world countries. What say you?
I'll go with B, dependency on foreign goods and services.
I would go with B as well.
All right. Does anybody else have a different answer?
I will go with C.
All right. All right. So, okay. So underdevelopment, right, usually refers to a country that isn't developed, but that's because they're prevented from being developed. So that's what underdevelopment refers to. So it's under, I think the key word to look at is under. So it's under what is expected or under what they can achieve, right? But then an undeveloped country is one that isn't developed, but it's not that they actually can. I'm using I don't know if I'm using the
Excuse
best
me.
word. Hello, yes?
Would the answer be D?
Yes, so the answer would be D. So it would refer to exploitation of the resources in third world countries, because again, underdevelopment usually means that the country is prevented from being developed to its full capacity. Does everybody get that, or do I need to go again? All right, I'll just continue. Then number 9, according to Thomas Malthus, which of the following is effective in controlling the population of a country? A, promoting celibacy and abstinence. B, encouraging agricultural production. C, decreasing state welfare for the poor. Or D, decreasing use of birth control measures among the poor.
A.
All right, that's correct. And so we should all know about the Malthusian theory and what Thomas Malthus posited, right? And so he was big on promoting celibacy and abstinence. All right, so I'll go back to marking this afterwards because my pencil has died. All right, number 10.
Excuse me.
Yes.
For number 9, my teacher said that even though he did speak about abstinence, he didn't speak about celibacy. So it wouldn't be A.
It would be C.
Okay.
All right. So, C, okay.
Hold on. Did he say to decrease state welfare, or did he say to just like
He
dismantle
didn't say to
it?
decrease state welfare. He said to not give them any at all, to not have state welfare.
Yeah, but that's...
Yeah, but kind of the same thing.
It has to be A.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at me. I said decreasing because I was looking
It
on
has
A
to be
or
A.
C. So me I say decreasing. He did not say decreasing. Just say yo, dismantle state welfare. He did not say to limit the amount that was given to the people in belief. Say yo, them not forget it at all.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't say decreasing, but me get what them say. Them say. Me never say celibacy. But he believed in like celibacy. When you
Yeah, when you
you
don't have sex at all.
until marriage.
Yes, it's kind of close.
So he promoted that. Him say yo, yeah, moral
That's right.
restraint.
He
So
did
it's,
promote celibacy.
yeah, in moral restraint. So I have to get.
All right, thank you guys. I have a question. So just to be clear, he also promoted that some persons should not get married at all, right? Am I correct on that? A little foggy in the memory.
He said
No,
till
he
you're
was saying
married
that.
until 25.
Yeah, 25 to get married.
All right. Well, all right. Based on thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. So yes, I believe that A is the best answer. Remember that there's always going to be one answer that is close and that is there to trick you. But if you're looking at the words that are used, as your colleagues mentioned, decreasing state welfare, that we're decreasing there, would really point you back to the answer being A. All right, but if you're comfortable with, if you believe that the answer is C, by all means, well, I'm not encouraging that, but whatever you think is the right answer to put. Okay. So number 10, the first stage of the demographic transition theory is referred to as A, low stationary, B, late expanding, C, high stationary, or D, early expanding. So the demographic transition theory. You're saying C as in cat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yes. Number 11, which of the following theories drew attention to the economic challenges of third world countries?
Dependency.
All right, great. I didn't hear what that other person was saying. The answer is C. All right. So you guys should be familiar with these theories, and so I am just going to continue. Number 12, the crude birth rate and crude death rate in a country indicates A, life expectancy, B, the number of infant deaths, C, the country's standard of living, D, the real amount of social change. I think somebody was speaking just now, I didn't hear that.
Would it be
For number 12, no. Well, all right. Any other answers?
I'm gonna have to go with A with this life expectancy.
All right. Just give me 1 second here. All right, crude birth rate. Okay, so the answer that I have here is C, the country's standard of living. And as I can see why this will be debatable, but so the birth rate and death rate would essentially will help to determine what is the life expectancy. But also it also point to the country's standard of living, like the infrastructure that they have in place, because you look at how many persons are being born and how many persons are dying and all of that. So what do you guys think about that between C and A?
I think C would be a more appropriate answer.
All right. So I'm going to go with C here. Okay.
question? I have a question. Are you using a answer sheet or what?
I'm using an answer sheet that I had prepared before the session. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Items 13 to 15 refer to the pie chart below, which shows the population distribution of country X. All right. The question is over there. All right, hold on a second. Okay. All right. Should be able to see all the questions now. So this is the pie chart here, so you can look at it. And then number 13 says the population distribution of country X is most representative of a country like it A, Uganda, B, Norway, C, Canada, D, India?
A.
All right. Any other responses? Okay, so yes.
B.
Wait, no, sorry. So I have A, and you can look at the distribution of the age distribution. So we have 50% of the persons being under 15 and 25% 16 and under between 16 and 40 years, 20% between 41 and 60 years, and 5% over 60 years. So this is indicating that these persons in this country, they would die at they would die early. It's earlier right to use, right? Because only 5% are over 60 years. And also there is high birth rate, seen as the number of persons under 15 is 50%. And so you use those things to determine what kind of country it refers to, and which country would fall under those categories that it points to. So A is the best answer here. Number 14, the most pressing problems the government of country X is likely to face in 10 years are I, the provision of adequate healthcare, 2, the sourcing of revenue for the payment of pensions, 3, expanding opportunities for employment.
B as in boy.
All right, so we're saying 1 and 3. Do you have any other responses? All right, so I'm going to go with B here as well, because as we see that there's a lot of young persons in this country, and so you know that and so we know that expanding opportunities for employment would be an issue that they would have to solve there, and also providing adequate healthcare for those persons as well. All right. Number 15, which of the following measures will country X advocate to combat its population problem? So we have contraception, migration, male sterilization.
B as in boy.
All right, so contraception and male sterilization. Great. All right. And this is for obvious reasons, they're trying to reduce the number of births that are taking place. All right. So number 16, which of the following views is not associated with the proponents of interactionism? A, the criminal is a powerless, passive victim. B, deviance occurs because of a need for status. C, moral panic is created by the police and media. D, people react to their interpretation of others' actions. So which one of review is not associated with interactionism?
B.
Why is it B?
Because it mentions status, and when I hear that, I normally think about the conflict theory.
Right. I don't think I agree with you on that one. Any other responses?
The answer is A.
A as well.
I'd say A. Yeah.
All right.
That
Can
leans
somebody tell
more
me
to the
why they say A?
That's the consensus theory. I believe
All
that.
right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes. So the answer is A. Yeah. All right. Just 1 second, guys. Happening. All right. See you. Okay. Number 17. Deviance is viewed as relative in nature. Which of the following statements best explains this? A. Criminal behavior provides employment opportunities. B. Punishment is encouraged to curb further delinquent acts. C. Society's members may not conform to the collective norms. Or D. Behavior in one society may not be readily accepted in another society.
B.
Yes, in the
And why you said B and why you said D?
Because what can be deviant in this society may not be deviant in that society.
All right. That is for D, right? Okay. All right, I guess the other person doesn't want to respond. So yes, the answer is D. And just as I'm not sure who was speaking, but just as you explained, it's what is deviant in one society is not necessarily deviant in another. All right. Number 18. Which of the following are characteristics of deviance? I. Deviant acts break the law. 2. Deviance is culturally determined. 3. Deviance violates standards of conduct. 4. Deviant acts are subjectively interpreted.
D again.
All right. Yes. So it's D. So we know that deviance is subjective, so it depends on who sees the deviant act. That's the person who is going to determine if it's deviant, and also the culture that the person is in, all of their values and so forth. So yes, and deviant acts do not break the law. So a deviant act may be illegal, but it does not necessarily have to be. But somebody was speaking, you can go ahead.
Yeah, man, the same thing you just said. I was about to say.
All right, thank you. All right. So, number 19, the family acts as an agent of social control for all its members. Which of the following is the least likely example of social control within the family? A, boys are encouraged to pursue language courses in school. B, girls are monitored more closely than boys. C, domestic activities keep women occupied. D, men are the sole breadwinners.
A.
Yes, A. So this is the least, likely example of social control within the family. So boys being encouraged to pursue language in school does not necessarily center around the family and social control. All right, so social control is most accurately defined as a combination of internal and external factors that encourage conformity. B, institutional values, norms, and attitudes that constrain human behavior. C, the external factors that encourage normative behavior. D, the internal factors that constrain human behavior.
B.
Yes, in boy.
All right. Any other responses?
I agree with B.
Miss.
All right. Somebody tell me why is it A and why is it B? All right. Can somebody tell me about social control? Anybody? No?
I will go ahead, Miss.
All
Miss,
right.
those social control are those mechanisms that society put in place for a person to conform. So, Miss, I said A because internal, you can have like a conscious mindset that will tell you not to do certain things, Miss, like your id, Miss.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the external forces, those are the laws. So that's why I chose A.
All right. So thank you. And yes, I agree with your explanation. So the answer is A. So it is a combination of internal and external factors that encourage conformity. So you have your own things on the conscious and conscience and so forth that would encourage you internally, you know, as well as other things that are in place in society that encourage you to conform. All right. So, okay. Which of the following statements supports the conflict theory on crime? I, crime reduces surplus labor by creating employment for criminals and law officers. 2, by defining people as criminals, the ruling class has more control over the working class. 3, the offensive nature of crime tends to create a stronger bond among people in society. And 4, crime is created by those in the society whose interest it serves.
Miss B as in ball.
All right, so you're saying I, 2, and Ivy. At 1, okay, yeah. So crime reduces surplus labor by creating employment for criminals and law officers. All right, yes, that is correct. B is correct. John Smith is only 14 years old, but he earns a living by selling stolen items in the main streets of Kenton. This statement best reflects Robert Merton's mode of adaptation, referred to as A, ritualism, B, retreatism, C, innovation, or D, conformity.
Innovation.
Yes, it's innovation. All right, thank you. 23. Which of the following theories postulates that without adherence to norms and values, life would become chaotic?
A, functionalist.
Yes, we know that the functionalists speak about, you know, everything working together in the society. And without this, then it would lead to chaos. Right. Okay, which of the following statements is true of women and crime in the Caribbean? A, women are less likely to be convicted of crime. B, women have an increased chance of being arrested for soliciting. C, it is generally assumed that men influence women to commit crime. D, prostitution and shoplifting by women are often not reported to the police.
A, women are less likely to be convicted of crime.
Yes, that is Sir. 25. According to Hirsch's control theory, deviant behavior is likely to occur among A, youth with strong attachments to social institutions, B, high-income youth who are disenchanted with their lives. C, middle-class college students with strong social attachment. Or D, youth with unstable family structures and weak social attachments. Indeed. All right. Any other responses? Any different groups? All right. So yes, it's the okay. Which of the following statements is associated with the Marxist theory of crime? Most laws concern the protection of private property. B, criminal behavior is linked to personality and intelligence. C, some crime is necessary for the survival of the social system. D, delinquent subcultures emerge when juveniles band together to form gangs.
A.
Yes, so the correct answer here is A. This is the one that it links to Marxist theory on crime. All right, 27. Religion is essential as a means of social control because it A, discourages conformity, B, draws people together, C, promotes spirituality, D, encourages deviance.
B.
Which I didn't hear what you said just now.
As in boy.
All right, somebody else was speaking. No, all right, yes, the answer is B. 28. Which of the following options best describes the criminal acts listed below? So, you have laundering money to secret bank accounts, purchasing large amounts of stock based on insider information, and manipulating earnings figure of company. Is it organized crime, corporate crime, street crime, or index crime?
B as in boy.
Corporate crime. Yes, that's correct. According to the conflict theory, deviance A develops through prolonged association with significant others. B is defined according to the social context of the act. C, perform several useful functions for society. Or D is defined by the powerful groups in society.
Dog.
D. Yes. So D is correct. The Marxists believe that the powerful groups are the ones that define deviant behaviors. All right, number 30. One of the reasons for the prevalence of crime in society is that criminal behavior is learned. The main proponent of this theory is E.A. Repeat.
A. Sutherland.
All right, yes. All right, thank you. So, number 31. The behavior of the poor is determined by situational constraints. Which of the following factors can be described as a situational constraint? A, underemployment, B, cultural deprivation, C, material deprivation, or D, seasonal employment. All right, I'll take it that you guys don't know the answer for this one.
So let's say C, material deprivation.
All right. Any other responses? Okay, so situation. All right, so the answer is A, underemployment. Right. Okay. Sorry. Yes.
Hold on there. Did say why you say underemployment?
All right. Okay, so give me a second. So yes, give me a second.
Okay.
All right. So situational constraints would refer to, whatever it is that is limiting a person, right? And so yes, it's asking what can be described as situational constraint, right? And so I would say underemployment, because underemployment would refer to persons who, don't have a job, or they're qualified for jobs, but not enough persons are there. Not enough jobs are there available for them. And so this would promote a restriction. So I don't think it would just be limited to, material deprivation or anything else. I think underemployment would be the best answer for that one. Right. Number 32, absolute poverty refers to a situation where the poor, A, remains permanently in need, B, are unable to obtain food necessary for survival, C, make social comparisons between themselves and others, D, are unable to obtain food and non-food items necessary for survival.
D as in dog. Agree.
All right, yes, so it's D. Okay. All right. 33. Relative poverty is best defined as a condition where persons are unable, or A, unable to obtain food necessary for survival, B, experience poverty at varying stages of their lives, C, are poor compared to other members of the same society, or D, have incomes that fall below the poverty line during certain months of the year.
C.
Yes, relative poverty is based on comparison. All right, number 34. Climate change refers to A, unusual weather conditions in a particular country or region, B, a period of rapid increase in the average temperature of a region, C, a change to sunny weather in a particular country, or D, a change in the long-term weather conditions for a particular country or region.
D.
Dog.
Yes.
D.
Okay. Thank you. Which of the following is the most accurate statement about the contribution of sociology to an understanding of poverty? A, it states that poverty cannot be measured. B, it explains why poverty occurs among individuals. C, it explains why poverty persists among specific groups. D, it helps us appreciate government's role in poverty reduction.
B.
B.
I'm not hearing the letter clearly.
B.
B
as in boy.
As in boy.
B.
Or C, one of them.
All right. So yes, the better answer is C. So it explains why poverty persists among specific groups. So you notice that they tend to pinpoint a certain category of people, so they talk about black persons, etc. So specific groups. 36. Some researchers found that at least half of the children born into disadvantaged homes do not repeat the pattern of disadvantage in the next generation. Which of the following theories is this statement challenging?
Culture of poverty.
B.
Yes, culture
yeah.
of poverty. All right, so now notice it says which statement it is challenging, and yeah. All right, good. So environmental sociology is mainly concerned with A, forecasting natural disasters, B, the effects of climate change on tourism, C, social causes of environmental problems, or D, economic consequences of natural disasters.
C.
C.
D. All right, so it's C, because it's talking about this the social causes. So what we did to contribute to that. So it says environmental sociology. So just to note that. All right. Which of the following statements is most likely to be the view of a Marxist theorist? The state does much to eliminate poverty. A culture of poverty encourages poverty. Poverty is the result of individual inadequacy. The state must redistribute resources from the wealthy to the poor.
D.
D.
D as in dog.
Yes. All right. Which of the following groups of individuals can be categorized as the deserving poor? A, widows and students. B, single women and children. B, single women and children. C, the disabled and terminally ill. D, dependent children and immigrants.
D as
C.
in
C.
C,
Yeah.
yes, the disabled and terminally ill. All right, so according to interactionists, health and illness are A, socially constructed, B, caused by power relations, C, affected by stigmatization, D, only affected by external factors.
C.
And any other responses?
A.
All right. Why it says C and why it said A? Right. So the answer is A. The interactionists, they speak a lot about things being socially constructed. And yeah, so the answer is A. All right, 41. Which of the following measures can be used to alleviate the cycle of persistent poverty in the Caribbean? I, increase opportunities in the education system. I, changes in the attitudes and values of the population. And 3, changes in the socialization patterns of the young.
Hold on. Could you zoom in? Could you zoom in on the paper, please? Thank you.
all of them? D.
I said D, as in dog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree with you.
All right, yes, it's D. So all of these can be used to alleviate poverty. All right, which of the following types of poverty is based solely on the minimum resources necessary to sustain life?
C. Absolute.
Yes, absolute poverty. All right. The process whereby non-medical problems become treated and defined as illnesses or disorders is
C.
yes, medicalization, right? Which of the following reflects a poverty alleviation policy where there is concern for equity in access to education, health, and political rights? Gender-related development index, Foster-Greer-Thorbecke measure, human rights approach, basic needs approach.
I have to lean on, no. C, me would I go with C, human rights approach.
And I would go with C as well. So it talks about equity and access to education, health, and political rights, and that talks about human rights because we have a right to education and health. So because of those two, I would go with human rights. All right. Consider. Repeat.
I was saying for political rights, the right to vote, that would be political.
Yes, thank you. Right. Consider the following statements: an increase in government expenditure on healthcare and pensions, a high demand for social services, an increase in the dependency ratio, tax increases. The above statements are implications of
An aging population, A.
all right.
Agree.
Okay. Yeah. So dependency ratio going up, demand for social services increase on healthcare and pension. Yeah. All right. So finish with the first paper. All right, guys, I need a quick water break before I continue because this is a lot of talking.
Yeah, me just said I go big one. Thank you.
All right. 11:05. We'll continue to the next one. Please back. Ready again to continue?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Just give me a second to open up this document. All right, 2015. So that was a 2015 paper. So we're going to look at 2016 now. Right. I'm starting in a few seconds, just having a little technical difficulty. Just doing that. All right. All right, ready. Okay. So question one. So the same procedure as we were doing a while ago. You just, your responses. All right. A sociologist who studies population trends
Excuse me,
would be
could you
most.
zoom in, please?
Oh, yeah. All right. Or would you like me to turn it around this way? Is that better?
Yes, that's way better. Thank you very much.
All right. A sociologist who studies population trends would be most interested in A, impact of natural disasters on the economy, B, impact of climate change on agriculture, C, relationship between industries and pollution levels, or D, impact of cultural beliefs and practices on population growth rates.
As in the
D.
Yeah.
Yes. So best answer here is D. Country X has a dependency ratio of 33 to 100, and country Y has a dependency ratio of 75 to 100. What can be inferred about these countries? Right. So the standard of living is relatively high in country X. The standard of living is relatively low in country X, and country Y is less developed than country X.
1 and 3.
B.
We're saying B or D just now.
B as in boy, that is 1 and 3.
All right. Yes. So 1 and 3. All right. Which of the following statements is true of Caribbean migratory patterns? Immigrants go mainly to Europe and Asia. Most Caribbean immigrants try to escape religious persecution. Caribbean populations have resulted from immigration over time. And D, the urban populations grow mainly because of international immigrants.
C.
Yes, C. So it's asking about Caribbean migratory patterns, and we know that our population is what it is because of migration in the past. Which of the following statements are true of Malthus's population theory? 1, population growth eventually outstrips food supply. 2, population grows at an arithmetical rate. 3, people must practice moral restraint.
1 and 3. B.
B.
Yes. We know that he said, it's an exponential that he said, right? That the population grows at
Geometrically.
Okay. Oh. All right. Which of the following, so item 5 refers to the following diagram, which shows a type of population pyramid. Which of the following governmental policies are likely to be implemented in a country with this type of population pyramid?
C.
All right. Let's see. All right. So C, you're saying 2 and 3, building more early child centers, training more pediatric nurses. All right. So you know that this population pyramid is showing more, let's say, more young persons than adults. So an increase in birth rate and declining, increase in birth rate. Yeah. So you'd need more pediatric nurses and childhood centers for those. All right. The Family Planning Association of Countrywide is developing a campaign targeting teenage females. The population statistics which the association may find most helpful would be
Ball.
Overall fertility rates.
D as in dog.
D as in dog. All right. All right. So yeah, D as in dog. So it's targeting yeah, age-specific fertility rates would be most important because it said that they're targeting teenage females. And, so that means they wouldn't want everybody's fertility rate. They would want to focus on those of, teenagers, a specific age group. All right, stage 2 of the early expanding of the demographic transition theory is characterized by low birth rates, low death rates, slow population growth, or B, high birth rates, low death rates, rapid population growth, C, high birth rates, high death rates, and slow population growth, or D, low birth rates, low death rates, and negative population growth.
B, high birth rates, low death rates, rapid population growth.
All right. Yes. Okay. Dependency theorists argued that developing countries remained poor because of their A, lack of stable political. Somebody speaking? All right, remember to mute if you're not responding. All right, dependency theories argue that developing countries remain poor because of their A, lack of stable political structures, B, exploitation by rich colonial powers, C, failure to develop products for export, or D, lack of an ideology of social and economic progress.
B as in boy.
B.
Yes. B. All right. Number 9, modernization theory is mainly associated with Marxists, Weberians, interactionists, or functionalists.
Functionalist.
Yeah. Yes, functionalist is right. All right. In 2008, country X had a total population of 500,000. The total number of births for that year was 5,000. The total number of deaths for that year was 2,000. Which of the following was the crude birth rate for country X in 2008? So I'll give you a minute to check that. Or we can do it together. So how do we find the crude birth rate? And
Birthday divided by population multiplied by 1,000.
can we go again?
Number of birth divided by population multiplied by 1,000.
Number of births. Okay. That's what you said? I think I wrote it wrong.
Yes.
All right. So can do this. Remember to mute. All right. Okay. Yes. So wait. Let me put this up right here. All right, so let's go. They said that the number of births for that year was 5,000. and the population was 500,000. Yeah. And so what's this work out to be?
See,
And say C.
All right, see, okay, yeah. All right, yes, that's how you work it out, guys. The term under development is usually associated with, I did this one.
A.
Yes, all right. Which of the following theories is associated with the world systems approach?
D.
D as in dog.
All right. Item 13 refers to the following table, which shows the development indicators that are used to describe trends and evaluate progress in variable countries. All right. In the table above, X represents the number of A, people standard of living, B, people who are victims of crime, C, people without university, people who have access to essential drugs.
A.
All right. This question always poses an issue. All right, any other responses? Any different answers? Okay, I might get back to you guys on this question in the group later on, because I know that this one always poses a challenge. All right, number 14. Which of the following theories drew attention to the economic challenges of third world countries?
Dependency.
C.
All right, good. What are the implications for the Caribbean region of an aging population?
B as in boy.
Right, yes. Okay, Nicholas lives in a community labeled a high crime area where he is able to learn criminal techniques. Which of the following theories claim that such behavior is learned from criminals in the community?
D as
D
in
as in
dog.
dog.
All right, Sutherland and Clord and Owen. Yes. All right, most criminologists emphasize that in order to prevent crime, the punishment must not occur too quickly after the crime. 2, the severity of punishment must be equivalent to the crime. 3, the pain of punishment must be increased, and the pleasure of crime must be decreased.
E.
So 2 and
C.
3, yes. All right, number 18. Which of the following are characteristics of deviance? Deviant acts break the law. Deviants violate standards of conduct. Deviant acts are subjectively interpreted.
C.
C.
All right, yes. See, did this one as well. Which of the following statements on juvenile offenders is most accurate? A, they are sent to the same prison with adult offenders. Serious juvenile offenders are predominantly male. Most juveniles seldom commit deviant acts alone, and juvenile crimes tend to be organized.
B.
You're saying D as in dog?
B as in bat.
Oh, okay, yeah. Or B. All right. In Merton's typology of deviance, an individual who accepts culturally validated goals but finds deviant ways of achieving them is known as
Innovator.
Yes, in dog.
yes, innovator. Ramesh and Ako, two supervisors in a construction company, secretly falsify the company's documents to ensure that they get extra supplies for building their new homes. This is an example of
Corporate crime. White collar crime.
yes, okay, example of white collar crime. So, in the falsification of the documents and so on. Yeah. All right. White collar and corporate crimes pose a serious social problem to Caribbean nations, yet often remain unnoticed. Why are these types of crimes so difficult to detect? These crimes lead to victimization, which tend to be diffused. These types of crimes tend to be intermingled with legitimate behavior. The perpetrators of these crimes do not think of themselves as real criminals. These crimes tend to be made up of complex and relatively technical actions.
C.
All right. Yes. 2, 3, and 4. So C is the answer. Without crime, there would be no social change in society, and this would result in stagnation. Which of the following theoretical approaches is best reflected in this statement?
Functionalist.
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 All right, good. Social control is most accurately defined as, what is this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A.
All right. Item 25 refers to the following pie chart, which shows the population distribution of country X. And here, so that 50% is under 15 years, 25% between 16 and 40, 20% between 41 and 60, and 5% over 60 years. The population distribution of country X is most representative of
Youthful population.
yes. So this was the same question, but you notice that they just changed their response here. So yeah, it's the youthful population because of the number of young persons there. All right. The family acts as an agent of social control for all its members. Which of the following is the least likely example of social control in the family? I would did this one as well. So, oh wait, so different responses. All right. Males are prepared to be breadwinners. B, boys are encouraged to perform domestic duties. C, domestic activities keep women occupied. And D, girls are monitored more closely than boys.
B, boys are encouraged to perform domestic.
Yes, so B is correct. Which of the following is least likely to be an instrument of ideological control?
A.
Any difference in opinion? All right, so
Yes, it's dog.
And the media.
yeah, I would say D, because I mean peer group, you have peer pressure and all of that. So And of course, the peer group can be an instrument of control. So repeat that.
I was saying that peer group is organization.
You're breaking up, not hearing. Let me see in the chat if you typed in. All right. All right, you're saying it says least likely. Yeah, I know it says least likely, but right. I still think that the peer group
Can
is
I
one of
answer that? Like
sure.
why I think peer group wouldn't be least likely, because you can be influenced by your friends.
Yeah. So all of them do hold some amount of ideological control, but and I think that being as peer pressure is peer pressure is a very prevalent thing. I don't believe that would fall under the least likely category. All right. So, okay, 28. Criminal behavior among women is underreported because police officers tend to be more lenient with women. Crimes committed by women tend to be petty crimes. Crimes committed by women are less likely to be detected.
All of them.
All right, so D, yes. Okay, which of the following statements is associated with the Marxist theory of crime?
A.
Yes, A. Emile Durkheim's insight into deviance indicates that it A represents an alternative means of goal attainment, B develops from anomie and produces social solidarity, may result from labeling by others but produces solidarity, promotes the ideology of the right and produces of the rich, and produces social solidarity.
B.
And I don't.
B as in
Ball.
Okay, yeah. So B. Okay. Which of the following perspectives asserts that poverty results from the failure of the state to allocate resources equitably?
A.
A. Yes, A is correct. Nothing can be done to improve my circumstances. I must think about where I will get food for today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Which of the following theories describes poverty as outlined above?
Culture of poverty.
Yes, culture of poverty. Which of the following perspectives asserts that poverty has many benefits to society?
Functionalism.
Yes. All right. Which of the following activities is not likely to lead to climate change?
Growing plants.
All right. According to the culture of poverty theory, poverty persists because it is beneficial to certain poor and affluent groups of society. Poverty results from the state's inability to allocate resources equitably. The poor take their condition for granted and seldom try to change. The poor are dependent on the welfare of the state.
See.
All right, C, yes. 36, the most accurate statement about the contribution of sociology to an understanding of poverty is that sociology helps us appreciate government's role in poverty reduction, helps us understand the problems in measuring poverty, explains why poverty persists among specific groups, and explains why poverty occurs among individuals.
See?
Yes, see, sorry, we did this one. My bad. Okay, which of the following reflects a poverty alleviation policy where there is concern for equity in accessing education, health, and political rights? Repeat that.
E as in boy.
Oh, okay. Thought I heard somewhere else. All right. A poverty alleviation policy which focuses on what is produced, in what ways, and with what impact is the and can you indicate which one you're referring to? Like a word?
B as in boy.
Yes. All right. Women may be unequally disadvantaged by the experience of being in poverty. Which of the following situations best reflects women's experience of being in poverty?
A as in up.
So you have, let me go to them. Women are more likely to be unemployed. Women are more likely to be criminalized. Women achieve lower educational levels than men, or high levels of discrimination exist against women in society. Any other responses?
D.
Answer D.
Yeah, that's why I went to them. So yes, it's D. All right.
Hold on. Where say high levels of discrimination exist in society? Well, you know, say a socio man where mark papers, him did I say A though. So that's why I don't know. So why is it C? High levels of discrimination exist against. Well, that's true. I don't know, man. Go on.
We considers we concerns unemployed part. That would be a form of discrimination because to them, women are more weak, are weaker, so that's a form of discrimination.
But nowadays, women more employed than men, so that's why D.
Also, we can consider the fact that, all right, so discrimination ties in with a lot of things because, all right, unemployed, it just says that women are less likely to not have are more likely to not have a job. But then with discrimination, no, it brings in also the fact that women, the jobs that they will get are probably the jobs that are lower paid jobs, you know, like let's say secretarial positions or janitorial positions, stuff like that. So that also will allude to why women would experience poverty, and also because, you know, some of them probably have children or whatever, so it's part-time jobs. So the unemployed answer really restricts it to saying, oh, women don't have jobs, that's why they suffer from poverty. But then discrimination ties in the other aspects that sometimes they do have jobs, but it is low paying jobs they'll get because they're a woman. So I hope that makes it clearer. That's what I think as well. But yeah, I understand why this would be a debatable question. All right, number 40. Which of the following is an indicator of the quality of a healthcare system in a particular country? Crude birth rate, infant mortality rate, inward migration rates, outward migration rate.
Yes, in boy.
All right. Yes, infant mortality rate. You know, this would help to determine the type of, because you have a lot of things. Mother is supposed to get checkups and so forth and etc. So yeah, infant mortality. All right. Indigenous people in the Caribbean are most likely to be subjected to and affected by poverty. Which of the following factors contributes least to this situation? They are victims of discrimination by governments of the region. They tend to be isolated and lack proper amenities. They usually have little access to education. Their cultures are thought to be inferior. B or A? Me go B. B as in boy? Yeah. All right, anybody else?
A.
All right, there's one to be answered. So, all right, so this is another debatable question. To be honest, I think I would go with B for this one.
What did you say a while ago?
Now I'm saying I think I would go with B for this one, but
B
this
as
is
in
my
bat?
B as in
Okay.
boy. But I'm not saying that that's a correct answer because I see why this would be difficult. But indigenous people, they do tend to be in communities by themselves, tend to be segregated or isolated, and they probably wouldn't have proper amenities. So, yes. But I see why it could be A, and I also see why it could be D. So I'll look at this question afterwards in more detail, and I'll try to send a response in the group and with an explanation. All right. Item 42 refers to the following diagram, which shows some of the effects of poverty. Yeah. So they're trying to find what X is.
C.
C. Anybody else?
Yeah.
It said effects of poverty,
I'd say C, insufficient parental supervision.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, so it would be C, not because proper nutrition wouldn't be an effect of poverty. Right. Poor people derive the least benefit from the healthcare system because of genetic factors affecting them, discrimination by the middle class, their diet and living conditions, technological changes in the healthcare system. B as in boy.
I said C.
Cat.
All right. So I don't think that discrimination would affect them benefiting from the healthcare, but their diet and living conditions would, because so those persons who would be poor would be more likely to eat the cheaper things that they can afford, which might not be good for them, and so on. And so maybe they do have access to healthcare because we have public healthcare which is free, but then their living conditions and their diet is negating any progress that is being made. So they're not really benefiting from it. All right, number 44, researchers contend that the behavior of the poor is not culturally ingrained, but rather is determined by situational constraints. And yes, we did this one. So we said that was D, right? Intervention strategies to reduce poverty and inequity in the Caribbean include conditional cash transfer programs, early childhood development programs, microcredits, and insurance initiatives. 1 and 3. All right, 1 and 3. Okay. So B, yes, I concur. All right. Okay, so the next paper, we're going to do 2017 as well. And then we can take questions. Let me just check the chat and see if there's anything there. All right. Somebody's hand is raised.
I was wondering if we will be doing any paper tools.
The paper 2 session is scheduled for a different day. Let me check and tell you which day that is again. When it's your exam, by the way, the paper 1 and paper 2.
The 25th and 2nd of June.
Oh, all right. So yeah, the paper 2 session is scheduled for the 22nd of May. That is, oh, that's next week, Sunday. All right, yeah. So at the paper 2 session, we'd go through actual, content and not just the past paper questions. So for the paper ones, so I'm really just going through the questions here. Because at the paper 2 session, we'd review actual content. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Excuse me, what year paper is this?
This is 2017.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's continue. All right, which of the following statements is true of population census?
Yes, in the
All right, yes. Oh, D. Which of the following statements best reflects the global population distribution? Are you guys able to see it clearly? I know there's a little blur thing.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So most people live in South America. Most people live in developed nations. The world's population is unevenly distributed, or Europe has a large proportion of the world's population.
See?
Is in C as in cat?
B.
Ball.
B.
Yeah, lots of different answers. So, all right. So yeah, the answer is C, because the population is unevenly distributed. That's why you have overpopulation in some areas and underpopulation in others. And that's why we have all these different, I don't remember the term. I know you have pronatal, what's the other one? Pronatal and
antenatal. You're talking about the population policy things.
yeah, so that's why we have those, because different levels of population all over the world. If people did just move and it was even, we'd be fine. But yeah, all right. The dependency ratio is an important measure of a country's social and economic development. Which of the following ratios will indicate the highest level of development?
A.
Yes. So we know we have the lower the ratio is, that means the less dependent persons there are, and so that equates to there being a high level of development. All right, number 4 represents the number of persons without access to safe water. All right, number 5, the demographic transition theory begins at which stage? And we had said stage 2 earlier on, so that is B. Which of the following socioeconomic statistics is most likely to be associated with Caribbean states? High ratio of maternal births to death, intensive and extensive use of technology, high levels of outward migration, or high growth rate of population under age 5.
Yes.
C.
C.
Yes, C is correct. Modernization theory is mainly associated with All right, the sociological definition of urbanization is an increased number of persons employed in agriculture, the movement of people from one place to another, migration of persons from rural to urban areas, or D, the growth of suburbs.
C.
C.
Yes, C is correct. Which of the following is a commonly used indicator of industrialization? Unemployment, migration pattern, manufacturing output, rural underdevelopment.
C.
C.
Manufacturing.
Migration pattern.
All right, so it's manufacturing output because it's talking about industrialization. So it would link to, I don't know how to explain without using the same words here. But it's C. All right, number 10. Social development is a critical concern for everyone as it, for one, forms the foundation for sustainable development, is crucial to improve the quality of life for all, is crucial in the fight to eradicate poverty.
C.
I think I heard D, right? So yes, all of these are crucial or important for social development. Okay, so this is another population distribution chart. This one is different than the first one that we did. All right, so it says, this time it says that 50% is under 25, 25% is between.
That's question 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do number 11 and number 12.
Oh, my bad. I just realized the thing split this way. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Which of the following theories drew attention to economic challenges of third world countries and its dependency? Which of the following is not associated with unplanned urbanization? Okay, so silent.
C.
All right. What else? Okay, so all right. Yeah, I have here A, such as and
Why you say A?
attached to urban living. Honestly, I do not have an explanation for this. So
Or using the answer sheet.
yes.
Oh, sometimes the answer sheet kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But
So
looking at
you're
this
still
one
going
too.
with it?
No, I'm not, because this I mean, I'm not just using the answer sheet. I'm also using my answers, but for this case, yeah, I don't know what the answer is here. So you guys said C and we have A. So I'm going to leave it there. I'll add it to the list of questions to revisit afterwards. The most, okay, 13 now, right? Yeah, so the pie chart there, can look at it. And the population distribution of country X is most representative of which country?
I'm going to go with Uganda.
All right, yes, agreed. Here, so even though the figures have changed a bit, essentially it's not a drastic change. Well, yeah, but the figures are still indicating to a youthful population here. So still Uganda will be the best answer. All right. The most pressing problems that this country would be likely to face is
Yes, in boy.
all right. Yes, so B as in boy, the provision of adequate healthcare and expanding opportunities for employment. Great. All right. Hold on. Yeah. 15. Which of the following countries is most likely reflects the periphery in Gunder-Frank's dependency theory?
Jamaica.
Yeah. A is correct. Deviant behavior. A is always considered a crime, and deviant behavior is always considered a crime and therefore punishable by law. B refers to any action that violates the norms of society. C is not relative to a society but universal. D is never functional to society.
B.
Didn't hear that one.
But.
All right, yes. Thought I heard A. It's like, all right. Primary deviance is defined as early acts of deviance that affect a small portion of society. Deviant acts that go through various processes that eventually make them criminal acts in society. Deviant acts that are not tolerated by society and committed by a few individuals within their lifetime. Deviant acts that are usually tolerated by society and committed by most individuals within their lifetime.
I'm going to go with B.
With B as in boy?
Yes.
Any other responses?
B as in dog.
All right. All right. Yes, so primary deviance acts that are usually, primary deviant acts that are usually tolerated by society and committed by most in their. All right, I would go with D here. According to Merton's typology of deviance, an individual who accepts the culturally validated goals but finds deviant ways of achieving them is known as
D.
Yes, an innovator. The family acts as an agent of social control for all its members. Which of the following is the least likely example of social control within the family? Boys are encouraged to
Yeah.
birth. Yeah, so it's A. All right. Marxists hold the viewpoint that the capitalist structures and institutions of society generate crime. Which of the following statements suggests that this is true? All Haitian citizens are subject to the same laws and controls. The majority of Bahamian citizens live above the poverty line. In Jamaica, there is one law for the rich and another for the poor. And the Caribbean Court of Justice ensures that justice is served to regional citizens.
C.
As in cat. Yes.
I
C.
love the statement there with Jamaica.
All right. Okay. Which of the following statements support the conflict theory on crime? Crime reduces surplus labor by creating employment for criminals and law officers. By defining people as criminals, the ruling class has more control over the working class. The offensive nature of crime tends to create a stronger bond among people in society. Crime is created by those in the society whose interest it serves.
Ball.
B. All right, so you're saying B, just I, and IV. So crime reduces surplus labor by creating employment for criminals and law officers. Yes, and yes. B. I'm sorry, the pauses that I'm looking at. And I'm wondering if that should be a part of the answer. Because if crime reduces surplus labor, if they're saying that crime reduces surplus labor, then that would not go with the conflict theory. So I don't think that I should be included in this list. So it would be 2 and 4. So A. What are your thoughts on that? Agree? Disagree? Remember, you guys are the ones writing the paper. So
I agree.
all right, thank you. All right. The following is not an institution of internal social control. Education, the family, the community, the legal and political system.
I'd say the legal and political system. Yeah. D.
Yes. All right. Agreed. Which of the following statements is related to sanctions? They undermine conformity, they have little symbolic meaning, they serve to regulate an individual's behavior, they have no effect on a person's self-esteem and sense of identity.
C.
C.
Says it, yes. Yes, C. All right. Here. Okay, Nicholas lives in a community labeled a high crime area where he is able to learn criminal techniques. Which of the following theorists claim that such behavior is learned from criminals in the community?
A.
Yes. Cloward and Olin maintain that three subcultures may arise as a result of differential access to illegitimate and legitimate opportunities. Which of the following is not one of these subcultures? Lower class subculture, retreaty subculture, criminal subculture, or conflict subculture?
A.
All right. So I have here B. All right. Retreatist subculture. Which of the following statements is associated with the Marxist theory of crime? It's A, that most laws concern the protection of private property. Religion may help to achieve social control because it
B.
draws people together. Yes. In an effort to reduce crime, the community police took to foot patrol, ensured that buildings were secured, overgrown grass was cut, street lighting was restored, and drug addicts and vagrants were removed from the streets. Their efforts reflect the policy related to
Neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch. Most criminologists emphasize that in order to prevent crime, the
Yes, in the D.
yes,
Dog.
D. White collar and corporate crimes pose a serious social problem to Caribbean nations, yet often remain unnoticed. Why are these types of crimes so difficult to detect? A. Yes, A is the best answer here. Which of the following is not a type of poverty?
Dog.
D.
Yes, D as in dog objective is not a type of poverty. All right, so now absolute poverty refers to which one of these situations?
D as in dog. Dog.
Yes, all right. On absolute poverty refers to the inability to obtain food and non-food items necessary for survival. Which of the following factors does not contribute to the maintenance of the cycle of poverty?
B.
B as in boy?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. All right, climate change, this refers to?
Dog.
Dog.
Yeah. a change in the long-term weather conditions for a particular country or region. All right, so the following item refers to diagram, identifies groups that are often categorized as poor. So people with special needs, indigenous people, women, the employed. The diagram above may be represented by which one of these?
The extended period.
C.
See it extend. Oh, wait.
Sorry, single parent. See, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yes. I was like, why is it extended? Yeah, the single parent family should be here. Good. Marxist ideology regarding poverty states that poverty persists because it is beneficial to certain poor and affluent groups in society. Poverty results from the state's inability to allocate resources equitably. The poor are concerned only with immediate gratification. The poor are dependent on the welfare of the state.
E.
Which one?
E as in
boy.
boy.
Okay,
Boy.
yeah. Yes. All right. Environmental sociology is mainly concerned with forecasting natural disasters, the effects of climate change on tourism, economic consequences of natural disasters, social causes and consequences of environmental problems.
Dog.
Yes, great. All right, 38. Which of the following statements is most likely to be the view of a Marxist theorist? The state does much to eliminate poverty. A culture of poverty encourages poverty. Poverty is the result of individual inadequacy. The state must redistribute resources from the wealthy to the poor.
Dog.
Yes,
Dog.
dog. All right. Yes. And number 39 refers to the following diagram, which shows the effects of poverty. So we have reduced educational opportunities, domestic violence, teenage pregnancy, and what does X represent? Is it proper nutrition, financial stability, malnutrition, or frequent employment opportunities?
C.
Nutrition.
Yes, malnutrition. Which of the following accurately describes employing the use of a poverty line in measuring absolute poverty? It is objective in nature, it is subjective in nature, it places emphasis on the impact of poverty, it places emphasis on the severity of poverty.
D.
D.
Yeah, I agree with him. D, as in dog.
All right. D. So why not A? The fact that the poverty line is an objective tool of measurement.
I was looking on D because D kind of more specific because it show you the tiers from like less severe poverty to most severe. So I was looking on that. You know, I was looking on the best one.
All right.
So what's your answer?
And my answer is A, but I understand your point on D. But
Sexy with them two answers.
I'm thinking of the word that they use because they're saying accurately describes employing. So I'm thinking they're saying, you know, what is the best reasoner for them to use this unit of measurement? And so while it does emphasize the severity of poverty, I think it's the best they use it because it is objective in nature. And so Yeah. But I'll put both of them for the sake of you guys, but I think it's A. All right. 41. The concept of the culture of poverty was developed by?
B as in boy.
Yes, Oscar Lewis. Which of the following is not included in the feminization of poverty? Low fertility rates, high unemployment, wage discrimination, or child rearing activities.
Low fertility rates.
Yeah. Yeah. Which perspective posits that governments will do little to alleviate poverty since they will act in favor of the ruling class? Somebody said functionalism? Oh, yeah, it's Marxism. All right, intervention strategies to reduce poverty and inequity in the Caribbean include and yeah, we did say B. CCTs and microcredits and insurance initiatives. And 45. Consider the following issues: an increase in government expenditure on healthcare and pensions, a high demand for social services, an increase in dependency ratio, tax increases. The issues above are implications of
An aging population.
Yes, that is correct. All right. So that's it. I had only prepared to share the 3 questions. 44 and 45. Let me see. That was B and A, respectively. Yes. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
All right, guys. Unfortunately, we weren't recording before. Sorry about that. But I'm sure you guys would want the answers to the questions that we're about to do. Because I know that you guys were having a bit of an issue with them before. So let me go back to where we were. We're going to finish. We're going to catch up from number 30 of the specimen paper. Tell me to see my screen first of all.
Excuse me.
Are
Like how
you seeing my
the
screen?
20 paper is now in the group along with the 2021 paper. Can we go through them?
I'm not going to go through that right now, but you guys can definitely do that because remember that we had our objectives before. So we never go through them.
Okay.
I didn't have them, so I think my battery just dead.
All right, guys. Just a tad bit of a technical difficulty. We're going to resume at 4 instead. Our tutors laptop just died a while ago, but no worries.